Most gyms let you put your membership on hold when life happens, whether you're injured, you're traveling, or you just need a mental or physical reset. It doesn't mean you're quitting, it means you're giving your body space to recover so you can come back stronger. Well, your business is no different. So when grief or a big life challenge hits, pushing harder isn't always an option. And it definitely isn't always smart. In this episode, we'll talk about how to create space for yourself when life interrupts your plans and why giving yourself permission to pause is not just okay, but sometimes it's the most sustainable business strategy you can choose. Welcome back to the Fitness of Business. I'm your host, Leslie Boyce. I really struggled with when or if I even wanted to talk about this on the podcast, running a business through a period of grief. And how would I even talk about it? So, in May of this year, my mom died after a years long battle with cancer. Oh, goodness. I'm not supposed to start crying this early in the episode. So, it wasn't unexpected, and I was able to spend a lot of time with her before she died. And yet, I feel like I'd be somewhat misleading by not talking about it here. And I guess what I mean by that is this is my real life. I'm a real person with real griefs and real struggles. And those things absolutely impact my business and my energy and my motivation and my capacity and my priorities. And most of all, I wanted to talk about this because I hope it offers you and me extra layers of relatability, as well as gives you permission to recognize that as a person who runs your own business, your life circumstances and events may cause your plan to be put on hold or change course entirely. And that's okay. There were 400 people at my mom's funeral. 400! Family and friends from every phase of her life. And many of them I've known my entire life. And they know that I've recently started this new business. They've known that I've been an entrepreneur for, basically my entire career, but they asked about how's my new business, and maybe it was a diversion from the sadness or just an innocent conversation starter, and I'm sure a genuine curiosity. And I felt like I should have a much more impressive answer. Like, logically, it's a new business. It's hard and it takes time. And I work with clients all the time who are starting new businesses and frustrated that things aren't just taking off quickly. And I say, well, it takes time. Somehow I was just not giving that same grace to myself. So emotionally, and I guess in my pride and my ego, I just wanted to impress them. So at the beginning of 2025, I gave myself a word for the year, and I gave myself the word permission. I wanted to assign myself permission across all of my decisions and across sort of all of my dealings and my experiences. Permission is just kind of what kept coming to me. And so I said, you know what? I want to, that's the word I'm going to assign myself. I even made a poster like I'm in seventh grade, but I still like to work with markers. And now this was before I knew any of this with my mom was right around the corner, because up until that point, um, even though her cancer was metastatic, she had largely been responding fairly well to treatment, and she was relatively stable. And so permission was the word that I came up with. Now, thinking back in just the days and the weeks that followed her funeral, the conversation with my mom's friends and with family came up a lot around, how's your business going? And again, they have the best of intentions. And while it's only been a few months now since my mom's passing, I wish I'd given myself more permission to answer the question honestly, and more importantly, without self judgment. The years that my mom was undergoing chemo and the months that my mom was in hospice were totally consuming. And I didn't even realize it at the time, because during that time, I went through an 18-month accelerated MBA program. I raised a toddler. I started a business. I did things. In retrospect, there's no way I can say I was able to, or even today am able to operate at full capacity. But I didn't stop working entirely because I derive great joy from my work and from being challenged. What I did do was inadvertently give myself permission to do some of the nitty-gritty business, behind the scenes, unsexy stuff that did not involve networking, schmoozing, hustling, the stuff that at the time really drained me. There are times where I feel like that stuff energizes me. During this period, very draining. So I just got really laser focused on the behind the scenes stuff. I hired a coach to help me launch this podcast and help me with a rebrand. So big shout out to Corinne Ingracia. Listen to her from episode 2 where we talk about social media burnout. But she helped me with doing a rebrand and getting really clear on my messaging and my offers and streamlining everything. And I remember in our first meeting together, she came prepared and had done a brand audit for my existing brand with LB Consulting. And it was very detailed and it was very constructive. And it was great. Like, it was very, very thorough. And she kind of stopped herself halfway through going through the presentation and her recommendations and said, I really hope I'm not overwhelming you with all of these things. And I said, oh, give me tasks. Give me a massive to-do list and give me all the tasks, because right now I can do tasks. What I don't have the capacity to do is create the task list and come up with the tasks to do. And so she did. And so I don't think I can say that I sort of made that a conscious decision. But now in hindsight, I feel like what was happening in my life and what is still happening forced me to redirect my energy into something that I felt like I could still accomplish, even if it was working in a different way than I am used to working. So, what I hope you take away from this episode is that you have permission to allow your business to be personal. You have permission to pause your quote unquote membership and know that you can and will come back to it. You have the permission to do the bare minimum on days that you're really struggling. And you have permission to not ask for permission from anyone but yourself. So let me continue spotting you through your biggest business challenges. Send me your Hey Coach questions at leslie@thefitnessofbusiness.com and we'll work through them in upcoming episodes. Running your business alone doesn't have to be lonely. So hit submit on that question, hit subscribe on this podcast, and I give you permission to turn your overwhelm into business plateau breakthroughs. See you next time.